Good to go? Obviously not the result that we wanted or that we're proud of or that is acceptable to us, but obviously needed, I think, in a lot of different ways. And I saw a lot of really upset and hurt players in our locker room, which I think is a really good sign as far as our competitiveness goes and the fact that this thing is real, right? We knew that this was a really good team with almost everybody returning and a bunch of good new pieces they got this year. So I think it was a situation for us where we're going to take every lesson from this game, apply it to practice this next week, hopefully have a wake-up call for every single person on our team, which from what I just saw in the locker room, I know will be the case, and move forward and be better for it, you know. This is about as big of a wake-up call and a sense of urgency call that I think you can have in your first game. So, again, not happy with the outcome. Very happy with our just ability to hang in and come back from, you know, almost 20 down and stay resilient through the fourth quarter. And kudos to our fans. I'm just so appreciative of everybody that showed up tonight and continue to stay with us and cheer us on, and almost had the result we wanted at the end. But we can't wait. We can't wait till the last 5 minutes to have things click and turn it on, in a sense. So a lot of lessons, a lot of film, a lot of conversations this coming week, and we move forward. We get better for it. We get better because of it, and we do not let it happen again. And I will do a much better job myself as well. So
yesterday you talked about, you know, looking for a big to step up,
yeah.
And it seemed like Denia might have done that tonight. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, I think Denia was a really, really bright spot for us today. I thought MJ was a bright spot for us today. And I think there's a couple positives that we can take from this game, and those two are two of them. So again, like I said, there's a lot of question marks on some positions for us. And, you know, I think those two answered some of those questions for us today. So it's good. We're going to have a lot of things solidified from like a lineup standpoint and an effectiveness standpoint after this game. So I think that's going to be really good. Like I told the players in the locker room, I don't ever want to go out, you know, against anybody, practice guys, an exhibition game. We never want to lose. But if we can take some valuable information from this, then I think it's a good thing for us. And
Go ahead. You were talking about boxing out yesterday, and then they out-rebounded you and also had a bunch more second chance points. What were you seeing in regard to that aspect of the game?
Yeah, that's 100% a toughness category and a want to and a discipline, and I will own that, and that is completely on me as a head coach to get corrected. It is something we talk about. It is something we practice. It is something that we preach, and so obviously I've got to find another way to wake them up if this wasn't enough, which I believe that this will be, but we can't we can't lose any category that comes down to toughness or discipline or just a willingness to go get the basketball, which they had from start to finish. Yep.
You had two runs where you got the score down, especially at the end in the fourth quarter. What clicked there for the players? It just seemed like they ramped it up an extra notch a couple times there.
Yeah, again, I think that's the lineups, like, right? We found when we went on those two runs, it was the same lineup, and that's a good thing for us to find out in a game like this and figure out, okay, we need to play that lineup a little bit more next game because they're effective in a certain way. So I think those runs were lineups, but I also think those runs were the defensive end when we were getting stops. You know, I mean, we held them to 60. You hold a team to 60, you got to win the game, right? Unfortunately, we weren't very effective on the offensive end tonight, and even on the days where you're not, because we're gonna have nights where we don't shoot it well. You need to be elite defensively, and that's not giving up 16 offensive rebounds, and you know, just not finishing possessions like we did today. So that will absolutely be corrected. But those runs started on the defensive end of the floor and started with those specific lineups. So we need more of those runs. We need those runs to last a little bit longer, and we'll learn from it.
How do you evaluate the team performance in the first half versus the second half?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So how do you evaluate the team performance in the first half versus the second half?
They were very similar, right? Like in the first quarter, we gave up 20, and then we buckled down in the second quarter and only gave up 13 on the defensive end. And then in the third quarter, we gave up 19. We gave up 19, and then in the fourth quarter, we buckled down. We held them to 8. But you can't wait till the fourth quarter to hold them to 8 1/4. That's something we should be doing consistently, especially against a team like that, So it was more of a, we think we're going to outscore you. Our shots will start falling versus let's continue to defend, rebound, do all the little things, be disciplined. I think that they got away from that mindset. But I think each half was a little bit similar in terms of the runs and the bright spots. I was just happy with how we finished the fourth. And, there was a point where we got down however many we did where you could have, down 18 or whatever the case may be, and they could have folded, they could have quit, they got pouty with each other, and they stuck to it. So I was happy and proud of them for that.
The first of Mickey's 2 3-pointers in the last 5 seconds or so, did you think that one was going in?
I think the ball's going in every time Mickey shoots it. That's as bad as you'll ever see her shoot it. She was 1 for 13. And she would own that, and we're back in the gym tomorrow. That's Tanny went 2 for 10. That doesn't happen to those guys, right? And so bright spots are that's probably won't see that on the stat sheet again, but if we do, we still got to find a way to win. Point blank period. There's no excuses.
The low assist total is reflective of maybe the idea that they haven't played together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of fans here tonight. I think some kids got in the game that have never even seen this many people before. Whether it was a true freshman or transfers or international kid, it's just, some nerves probably a little bit, some wanting so badly to please everybody in this building. So I think a lot of those things, especially in the first half when we just kind of couldn't get the ball in the hole. But I think they settled in. I think the second half they got much more comfortable offensively, obviously, but a little bit too little too late, unfortunately.
Rolling off of that, you do have a brand new team, and they're all playing together for the first time, and especially, as you were saying, in front of a crowd with, it's really different for them. But they haven't all played together before either. So even with this loss, do you feel like the lessons they're going to learn from this and that playing time together is just going to help them build for a better outcome next time?
Yeah, absolutely. We're still 0-0, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people just watched us lose, but it doesn't count towards our season or anything like that at this moment. But this should hurt. This should sting. This should affect them heavily in terms of wanting to get in here tomorrow and get better. But this is our first 40 minutes of basketball together. We're gonna take it. And the next 40 will be better, and the next 40 will be better, and the next 40 will be better. There's a reason you play these. There's a reason you have a non-conference. And we weren't at our best tonight, individually or as a team. But that's why you play these games.
In your opening statement that this was needed, what did you mean by that?
We needed to get a punch in the face, and that's what happened. And so, credit to them, and just the physicality, the offensive rebounds, the finishing possession, all that stuff. You don't get to win because you wear Arizona across your chest. That's not how this works. You win because you earn it.
In the first half, it seemed like there were a lot of real quick substitutions. Was that just checking different lineups, or was it talking to players? What?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Something you just talk to them about, and then it happens again. We're gonna get them out, or someone fatigued and needing a sub, or maybe just a better lineup based on their personnel for us. So, and again, like you saw, it was mostly the bigs, right? Just trying to figure out somebody that's going to step up and step in. Unfortunately, D, as good as D was today, I hope that's the case again next week, that she just solidifies that this is who I'm going to be every single night. But like I said, I think it was yesterday, we're just having some consistency issues with that group. But again, wake up call for everybody, top to bottom, starting with me.
Trying not to sugarcoat the loss, what positives did you take away from the negatives throughout this night?
Yeah, like I said, the way they finished the fourth quarter, the run they went on, them coming out of half, going on a little run there, Denia, MJ being really, really positive spots for us when I look at the stat sheet and see how Mickey shot it and how Tanny shot it. I think the bright spots are that you're in position to still win a game at the end with your two people you rely on heavily to score the ball that didn't do that virtually at all for us today. Thought I saw some really good stuff from my assistants, and they were giving me some really good feedback, and I'm getting in a flow with them too. We never sat on a sideline together, right? So everything is being evaluated and worked out and sorted through during these games.
Including the clock.
Morgan's looking at me like, Becky. Yes, including the clock. And whose ball it is.
When you only take 12 three-point shots on goal, like, is it become harder to game plan, like in terms of the math, because they took 30? Like, is it become just like a really big uphill battle mentally?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, threes are worth more than twos. They made 6, we made 1. But they took 30 attempts. Like, that is an adjustment we made in the locker room and didn't do a good enough job adjusting to that. Like, if we're going to be a team that's not going to make a ton of threes every night, that's okay. You know, I haven't always had teams that make a ton of threes, but you got to make up for it in other areas. Like, it's literally math. They made 6 threes, we made 1. So there's however many points you need to make up for, whether it's from the free throw line or off our own offensive rebound putbacks or in transition or whatever the case may be. Like, we have to do a better job. Thank you, guys.